So what we got today for you guys right here, overwhelmingly, I'm pretty fired up. Well, this is kind of big, right? Overwhelmingly, the BLET votes to authorize a national strike. Who's the BLET? That's the Brotherhood of the Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, right? That's a big deal, guys. Remember I did a video earlier on, and we had the CEO, CFO of Flying J truck stops, okay? And the Flying J truck stop, his whole point of his conversation was they've been demanded by the rail systems, okay, who are owned by BlackRock, to stop transporting diesel tanks and DEF fluid tanks. They have to reduce their number of tanks because they want to reduce the number of cars on the rail. I think it was Saturday, about the train system, right? They were all poised to go on strike. It was supposed to go down today. President Biden did step in Friday night late. It was in between my posting the video and the information that he had coming out. So there was a little lag there, right? But I'm just trying to get you guys this information as fast as I'm getting it. I got the article. I normally don't even post videos on Saturday. I thought it was important enough to share with you guys, and here's where we are today. So they extended it for another 60 days, and there's no telling if that's actually going to get worked out. And you have to keep an eye on other train unions or folks around the globe, because there seems to be a little problem with the train folks. Oh my goodness, here we go, guys. I gave you a warning a couple weeks ago, and I'm gonna do a follow-up on it now. But what I try to do is give you guys these news stories, but I kind of keep my eye on them and ear on them, right? Because I want to follow up with them. I don't want to just drop some news on you guys and it's not very good news and then never really follow up with it. That's why I try to touch base again about the Amos Miller story. And now we're going to be talking about this train situation, right? I've been following this train situation. Some of you guys thought, oh, it's no big deal. Old Joe Biden's going to save the day and everything. And he did. He actually saved the day. The night before I put that video up, he actually came in with his, presidential thing, and he stopped the union from striking because it's the railroad, right? It's a really important thing, and he has the power to do that. So he basically put him back to the negotiations table, right? But all that is, I'm just telling you, it's just going through the process, right? So like he went through that process, and then you guys all stopped thinking about it, and then slowly, while you weren't paying attention, this is what started happening. Being out here with the girls this morning. All right, so right off, I've been following the story, and it looked like Amtrak about a week ago. Here, I'll try to read you the article here. Now, this is a story just from today, but I saw this rumblings about a week ago, and I made mental note of it, right? It says, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, due to an impeding freight rail strike, Amtrak says it will be preemptively canceling trips over additional 7 long-distance routes to avoid possible passenger disruptions. The deadline for negotiations with workers and unions is Friday at 12:01 in the morning, but what happens if that does not succeed? PennDOT says passenger travel may be affected on the Pennsylvania line between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. Amtrak says most travel within Northeast Corridor and related branches to Harrisburg may not. In a statement, the Amtrak company said Amtrak is closely monitoring the ongoing freight rail and rail labor contract negotiations. The negotiations do not involve Amtrak or Amtrak workforce. While we are hopeful that parties will reach the resolution, Amtrak has now begun phase out our adjustments to service in preparation for a possible freight rail service interruption later this week. Now, you guys know Sleepy Joe loves Amtrak, don't you? Old Sleepy Joe, he wants to put Amtrak around the whole globe. How many years have old Joe been talking about getting Amtrak some money? And he keeps feeding him that money, don't he? So you got to connect those dots, right? All right, so I saw that story a couple weeks ago about the Amtraks, and they were getting ready a couple weeks ago. Now, that's the latest story from ABC 27, and that came out 2 hours ago. Today, it's Wednesday morning, right, at about, I don't know what it is, about 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. So I'm giving you this stuff so fresh, right, so fresh. So I'm, just minding my own business this morning and see what comes across the old news line this morning. Joint statement from the train teamsters and all that stuff, right? They're getting ready to tell you what's up. Statement by Jeremy Ferguson, President, SMART, S-M-A-R-T, Transportation Division, and Dennis Pierce, President of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen and Teamsters Rail Conference, On move announced by the nation's largest railroad today to further abuse shippers and gridlock the supply chain in order to extort a contract settlement from rail unions, right? Late on Friday, September 9th, the nation's largest railroad began warning major shippers that they are declaring an embargo on certain types of new shipments 5 days in advance of the end of the federally mandated cooling off period, right? Remember that cooling off period? And remember, you guys heard this story first right here on this off-grid channel. They further advised that all rail shippers could be blocked from making any rail shipments well in advance of next Friday's deadline for lockout or strike. This is completely unnecessary attack on rail shippers by these highly profitable Class 1 railroads and no more than corporate extortion. Our unions remain the bargaining table and have given the rail carriers a proposal that would be willing to submit to our members for ratification. But it is the rail carriers that refuse to reach an acceptable agreement. In fact, it was abundantly clear from our negotiations over the past few days, right, that the railroads show no intentions of reaching an agreement with our unions, but they cannot legally lock out members until the end of the cooling off period. They are locking out their customers beginning on Monday and further harming the supply chain in an effort to provoke congressional action. Right? The railroads are using shippers, customers, and the supply chain of our nation as pawns in an effort to get the unions to cave to their contract demands, knowing that the members would never accept them. Our unions will never cave in these scare tactics, and Congress must not cave in what can only be described as corporate terrorism, right? And you guys have to remember, man, you know, unions, you know, I know you guys are some of you union people out there, and I was in the union before too, right? But that's straight up like communism, right? Unions. If you go trace that stuff back, right? Now, they brought some good stuff into our workforce and stuff. I'm not saying none of that stuff. But all I'm saying is that they're corrupt as hell, right? And that's just the fact of the matter. It has nothing to do with the workers, right? It's the uppers. It's the uppers, okay? And they're in on it, right? So everybody that's up here is all talking to each other, and they are going to choke you out. So I wanted to bring you this information real quick. You know, I'm not Debbie Downer or doom and gloom, but if you guys don't know the supply chain's about to get rumped, and maybe you're sitting a little thin on some stuff that maybe you were thinking, well, maybe I'll just get that next week or something. Keep your eye on it, guys. It's going to start heating up, I'm telling you. All right, so I'm hanging out with the girls this morning. We're getting ready to go to Kidron, Ohio. If you guys are in the area, we'll be there on you know, Friday in the afternoon, but Saturday all day long, you guys can come and say hi to Stacy and myself. Gary and Marge will be there. If you guys like Gary and Marge, they help build Mom's cabin over there. That's our cabin right there, but Mom's cabin's way over there. All right, so we'll hopefully see you guys at Layman's in Kidron, Ohio this weekend, right? And hope you have a great day, and keep your head on a swivel, guys. Stay prepared. I got some more stories coming. I'm just going to keep bringing you these stories because I worry about you guys. You know what I mean? You guys are out there and you're in these crowded areas, and they're gonna start putting the heat on you. You've been feeling a little bit, but you're really gonna start feeling it. And I'm just trying to keep you ahead of the game a little bit so you can make some good decisions. All right? You guys have a great day. I'm gonna chill out with my girls here for a little bit, and then we're off to Kidron, Ohio. Man, they're getting at it, aren't they?